All right. Good evening. Good late afternoon. All right. Sorry. Camcorder's here. Comments are there. You guys are really awesome. So hang on one moment. I want to get uh, my other flat screen on behind my camcorder, my camera, so I can uh, see my comments from two different angles. So um, there we go. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. I'm live. All right, so we have a really good live stream because brother Andy, sent me some 30-06 cartridge cases, and man, he made my day. Just as it turns out, guess what I have been cleaning? I have been cleaning a ton of 30-06 cartridge cases. I still have about 100 to clean. I probably have 400 under the bench. I'm going to probably have about 800 or 900, all sized, clean. And I'm going to be doing some annealing this weekend. So I'm going to have a lot of cases to anneal. I'm just going to have fun with these. And so for this live stream, what I thought I would do, I am going to use the Reading Instant Indicator and take a look at these cases by Andy. Yeah, that's a good start. You can't have enough when you're shooting M1 Garand, right? But the other thing I'm going to do, I thought about this at the last minute. I'm going to also use my L.E. Wilson depth micrometer. We'll take a look at the case size with that too. Now, there's nothing in the description box. So I got off work early, but then I realized I left my cell phone at work. So I came here, I got all set up, then I had to go all the way back for my cell phone. And then I came back and I was going to invite Andy on. We called and he's running and I'm running. And so he's in the comments. And so I might just ask him a few questions here or there. And so it's going to be a good time. So, all right, we have 11 on. And so what I want to do, I'm going to call you guys out. I want everyone to type Andy 79Z28. Now, hang on. I think that before we do that, will you guys give me just a moment? Hang on. Don't go nowhere. I'm going to type something. If you aren't aware of Andy's channel, go over there and subscribe. Man, go check out his channel. If you want to get into casting bullets, he can help. He's the king of zinc. If you want to get into zinc bullets, he can do it. If you want to get just general reloading knowledge, he can do it. Okay, so this is what I want everyone to type. Type Andy 79 Z28 or just Andy, and I'll call you out. And he's also on Rumble. I don't have that link. I apologize for that. We have Tactical FUD. It's good to see you, partner. Good to see you. Mama Dad. MacMan 39 reloading. Now, Mama Dad just texted me. He was asking me a question on powder measures. The 3BR by Reading or the BR30 by Reading for 223 Remington. I told him the BR30 all day long. And so you guys know that if you go to the forum, there's a link on the forum, 76highboy.com. Anything you buy through that forum, through Brownells, we get a percentage of, but he's getting it cheaper at Mid-South. Look, if you can save money, go elsewhere. You're not hurting my feelings. So just know that. If you got to buy something and you buy it elsewhere, no offense. Matter of fact, I applaud you for it. So, okay, and have fun with that BR30, brother. You're going to actually like that. And after you had it, I hope you let us all know what you think. So we got Uncle Milty, MSB 9021, Tactical Thud, Milsurp Duo, Mike Meek, the awesome Mike Meek. And then we got Andy 79Z28, Brendan Farley, and it wasn't at Stocking Brownells either. Yeah, go figure. Matt B in the house, the awesome Running with Scissors. Every time I see your name, I just can imagine you running with scissors. We got a guy, CW at the top. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Old Ironhead. Francis, my good buddy Francis. Old Ironhead, good to see you. Donnie Hitterbrand. Donnie Hitterbrand. Everyone welcome Donnie. He commented at 419. I don't know if he's still there, but everyone say hi. So, and Matt B. Welcome, Matt B. It's good to see him. So, all right. So, okay. A few things. So, I've had questions lately pertaining to scrounging brass. A lot of questions across the board. How do I know if it's bad brass? So a few weeks ago, I went over to Pacific Steel scrounging, looking for a 38 special. I found some, and so I told everyone about it, and man, like an explosion. A bunch of my viewers, man, they go, I would imagine there was places reloaders crashed in their doors the next few days, and so they're looking for brass. And so guys are asking me, well, how do I know if a bottleneck cartridge case is good or not? Okay, actually, excellent question. Because you could go and you could get brass that another reloader has worn out and ditched, and it's no good. How would you do that? I'm going to show you here with Andy's brass, because Andy sent me some stuff. Now, we know something. Andy is really good at what he does. Okay? But what I'm about to tell you could offend some, but it won't offend Andy. I'll bet you it won't. Because I bet you if I sent cases to Andy, I bet you he's going to double check me. Right? So Andy sent me some brass. So I'm just not going to size this, load it up, and go shoot it. I am going to, yeah, and that's what I do too, Andy. So what if you on all your recycled brass, like I got a big old brass bin right there, smash it with a hammer before you take it in. Okay. I'm really bad about that because I chuck it in there, but then I'll just go in there and I'll have a smash it up with a hammer real good. But anyway, I'm just not going to take the brass that Andy sent me and say, oh, it's good, it's ready to go. There's some few safety checks you need to take a look at. And sometimes you need to do it with your own brass after you've been reloading it for a while, especially if you're not sure if you're really correctly sizing back to proper head space. So I'm going to start out with talking about a very dangerous thing if you're not aware of it with brass. And you'll see questions on social media. You'll see guys asking about this, and it's called incipient case head separation. And so you can have what's called incipient case head line. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what the incipient case head line is, and then I'm going to tell you how we get it. Andy's brass doesn't have it. Oh, see, he knows what he's doing. When they manufacture this, the base is a thick web. From the web up, These are brought together, okay? And so what happens is, all right, when you size your case down too much, it's really small in the chamber, okay? Let's start here. You go down and you buy a factory, Rex Chandler's in the house, and I owe you a phone call. If I don't call you by this weekend, you text me and remind me, okay? Because I forget. So, okay, let's just say for our illustration, we take a factory, Paul Merritt's in the house. We take a factory round and we go out and we shoot it. Well, with that factory round in your chamber, you rack it up, you pull it, and you shoot it. What's going to happen is that factory round is going to obturate. Okay? Now, obturate is different than expand because I can expand something. I can expand something lengthways, but obturation means increase in all outer diameters. Take your wife's lipstick, some that she doesn't want anymore, and write obturation on your mirror. Obturation. A balloon obturates. When your grandkid or your child blows the balloon up, ask them, say, why did you obturate that? They'd be like, what? See, obturation is different than expansion. So in the chamber, your case is going to obturate. And for a brief moment in time, it has to stick to the inner walls of the chamber. It has to. If it doesn't, it's going to slide back in the chamber. It's going to hit the bolt face. You're going to damage your rifle, possibly blow your glasses and blind yourself. So it has to stick. This is why after you lube your brass, you need to just wipe the case lube off. Some guys, after they size their brass, they tumble it, load it, then they dry tumble it. You don't have to go that far. Wipe the lube off. That's more than sufficient, okay? If you have like a micro layer of, like a micro, if you wipe it off with the towel, any residual on it is going to burn off in the chamber. Not enough to stop it from sticking, okay? So for a brief moment in time, the cartridge expands, sticks in the chamber, but then it has to do something. It's amazing. It has to shrink fast enough to be ejected. Now think about your AR-15. It's ejecting. Think about your semi-auto pistols. So bang, 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 and it's ripping these cases out. Well, your extractor, it's got to pull those out. So the case has to extract quick enough for that to happen. Okay, so a lot going on. Brass is an amazing thing. Okay. Well, this is what happens with some reloaders. You see, a SAMI spec cartridge case, a factory, it's going to expand in the chamber, but it is only going to expand so far. If you size your case down too small for the chamber, now it's going to stretch too far under pressure. All right? When you do that repeatedly, you begin weakening right here, and you're going to start seeing a very clear line. That's a total weak spot. So now what happens, you pull the trigger and it separates there, and guess what? Okay, think about this just for a second. I want you to think about it. Uncle Milty's in the house. Del Pogue's in the house. I want you to think. Under normal conditions, this seals in the chamber. All the pressure inside goes that way down the bore. Once the bullet leaves or exits the muzzle, it returns back to atmospheric pressure, right? If you have an incipient case head separation, where does all the pressure go? Well, that depends. At what point in time you blow that head. If you have somewhat of a seal, every bit of that chain pressure is going to come right back in your eyes. If the bullet is exiting and we don't quite have it sealing, it's going to, and you're going to know it. And you're going to pull the bolt and the case is going to be in two pieces. But if that incipient case head separations happens, while this is stuck to that chamber and that bullet has not begun moving, you're going to buy 60 some odd psi right in your eyeball. So what if I showed you how to size back properly so that you don't have that problem? Because if you size properly and you charge by the book, you're not over pressurizing your firearm, you can run that case till you wear it out. Okay, and when you wear it out, trust me, you'll know. Okay, so I'm going to show you something you can do if you go and you want to look for cases. Now, this is kind of time consuming. If I was going to go looking for like 30-06 cases, whatever bottleneck rifle case you want, 30 cases, I can tell what's factory and what's not, okay, for the most part. But if I was going in at a recycle center, going into one of those big Gaylord bins, scooping it out by the shovel, and I was looking for, like, you're going to go for some 280 Remington, or you want some 30-06, take yourself a paper clip, take a few, okay, and run it into your case. And when you get down about this far, when you get down around this far, if you feel a bump, that's a bad case. That mama jama's going to come apart on you. Even if you size it right, it is ripe and ready to mess you up, okay? And so that would be one you would not want, okay? Now, you can take your cases and do the same thing. These cases, Andy sent me on the phone. He said they've had 3 firings. I can tell you right now, Andy sizes back pretty doggone good, because after 3 firings, this 30-06 case has no speed bump. I have no lines. That is really pretty freaking awesome. 30-06, hey, that makes a good little beard scratcher. 30-06 is running it's an amazing round. It hits really hard, has a lot of pressure. So if you size down too small, you're going to mess your cases up in a real short time with 30-06. So I'm looking at these. Now, run it in there. You see, you can kind of do this. Put a digger end on it. It's a digger. You can almost scratch the brass. It wants to plow the brass. It almost wants to etch it. When you go in there, now I got too much of a curve, okay? Too much of a curve. Okay? There. I'm scratching the inside of the case. Go all the way up and just back. Spin the case. You're good. If you don't feel that bump, if you do, game over. You're done, okay? So that's the first thing you can do in inspecting your cases. The other thing, you can look at the rims, and if you see the rims chunked up, like, I'm sorry guys, if you see marks like right there all around the rim, that can be too much pressure. Think about it. Love W is in the house. If you have too much pressure, whang, okay? The more pressure you put in the case, the less it's going to retract or obturate back. And so your extractor, it has to pull it stuck to the chamber walls, and you're going to start leaving extractor marks. That is very bad on your rifle, especially if you have a battle rifle. If you have an extractor marks on the inside of that rim, you need to back it down and then watch to see if you're still having those extractor marks. Another thing, if you've damaged your extractor and you back it down, you could still see marks until you get that extractor fixed. That's signs that you've messed your extractor up. It's just too hard on it, okay? And I've never had that problem, so I'm not talking from experience. I'm talking about things I've read, things I know. But I have had extractor marks from too much pressure. I just have never messed an extractor up. The minute you see extractor marks, okay, here's one for you. Bolt action rifle, bang. And it's hard, you got too much pressure. And that's hard on your bolt. That's very, very hard on your lugs. Okay, so one of the things that you don't want to do with the bolt action rifle, if you got a tight round is good. Tight is right. But if you can't close the bolt, don't force it, because you're smashing your lugs, and that's going to change your headspace. That's going to screw everything up, Johnny. Don't do it, okay? Your bolt should shut really nice on your rifle. It should just feel natural, okay? So Andy says, I work in military. Okay, I put my brass in the x-ray machine at work, shows up right away. That's cool that you have that. I work in military electronics, and we have all kinds of testing equipment. That is so cool. You're not taken away. You guys, you have all you want, okay? It's not about me, okay? So that's the first thing. Inspecting your brass for safety, inspecting the solid mechanical side. So now I'm going to take that. I'm going to get you guys up here, and I'm going to get you in close up. Enough of me. It's all about what we're working with here. Okay, so all right. So what I have, this is my Redding Deluxe die set, part number 84148. You need a shell holder number 1. In case you're wondering what Series A means, what does Series A? If you go into the Redding catalog, by the way, if you go to their website, you can download it, or you can request them to send you one. They'll be ready towards the end of the month, I believe, or middle of the month. But A means this. They have different series: Series A, Series B, Series C, Series D. Now, this is how it works. For a company to manufacture ammunition, if they're going to do so many hundreds, thousands of rounds, they're going to set their equipment up, not like this. We're talking manufacturing equipment, and they're going to run hundreds of thousands of rounds. Well, all of a sudden, now they're ready to do an oddball caliber. They got to tear all that equipment down and get it set up for just a smaller batch, and that's why that ammunition costs more. So what Series A dies are, those are your popular dies. Those are the ones that Redding cranks out more. A Series B is going to be a little more expensive. It's less used. A Series D is going to be even more or less cost effective. And then the D, that's like non-existent stuff that they make once in a while, and that's going to cost you a lot more. So that's what Series A means, okay? So now, so this is the Resize and Decap. Now, what I've been working on brass. Okay, these, how do those look? Okay, pretty snazzy. Okay, They're all universally decapped, okay? I'm getting ready to size all these. So this is our Resize and Decap Die. Hang on. So start with your lock ring all the way up, okay? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start the die in the press. I have a number 1 shell holder in position. I'm going to thread this down. Now, this is a steel die. On a steel die, we're going to put cam over, all right? On a turret press, if you have a turret press, this is how it works. This turret has flex. Back here, on the back side, I can't really move my camera too much, but on the back side, it supports it. So we have a little bit of flex. So we have to put a little extra cam over to absorb the tilt in the turret and to cam over on your die, okay? We need cam over, all right? So now I'm going to show you this, okay? I want you to watch this handle. I'm raising the handle and I'm threading the die in. Watch that handle. See? That's your cam over, okay? Perfect. That's all I need. Now I'm going to run my lock ring down. Now, did you know? Okay, watch this. Okay. I'm going to show you this. You ever heard that theory? You got one person here and one person here, and they're in bad moods. When this person pushes on this person pushes back, and you get into a pushing fight war. Watch the mechanics. When I cam this over, this die is going to rise up, right? Well, this turret wants to push down. So when I tighten this lock ring like that, when I release the ram, that die is going to suck down. And now I can loosen it, but you really got a reef on it. Why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that because some guys tighten their lock ring so tight, they're working against everything. So just be aware of that, okay? Now, for the video, I'm not going to overly tighten this, okay? You know, I'd better, Murphy's Law. So next I'm going to set the instant indicator up. That'll be in about 25 minutes after I get this tightened. Man, I don't know. I need to get one of these like 10 inches long. There we go. Okay. So next, what I'm going to do for sizing, and what I'm about to do, I only need my full length size die, and then you need this. This is the instant indicator and case comparator. You need the instant indicator. Once you have the indicator, you only have to buy the comparator. Okay, all right. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this die body. I'll just take this apart. Let me show you how this works. Okay. You want to throw it on the bench just like that. Okay, you see that? When you get this, if you purchase this, spray it down with action cleaner, let it dry. We're going to take this part here. Notice. And where it's making contact is with the datum line of the shoulder, okay? Now I'm going to just show you this. I don't have a full Op6 round handy, but imagine if you have a bullet seated into that. Now we can measure bullet, can't we? Depth? Aha, okay. Now you're thinking. The other thing, you can measure just the bullets with this. So I'm going to take that, put it downward. Now, you see all the black? You say, man, you need to clean that. No, that's graphite. That's a good thing, okay? Okay, so I'm going to put that in there like that. Then I'm going to take this spring. You'll notice. See how that spring fits over that like that? So we'll put the spring in there. And then you're going to take this piece. Now, be very careful. You see this little black screw? If you drop that, it bounces really far. It's not going to land 1 foot from you. It's going to go like 4.5 feet under the bench, trust me. So we're going to thread it in. If you turn this, you might lose that. So keep that turned in like that, okay? There we go. Now, what we're going to do, you want to start getting, you don't want to be good at setting your press up for cam over. You want to be consistent. I'm going to set this up for the same amount of cam over as I did that. Is it critical? I don't know. But get good at it. It won't hurt you. Oh. I don't have a lock. I loaned my little that little lock screw out. It became a donor. I don't have my set screw in that, so that's okay. All right. So now I'm going to unthread this. And I'm going to take the instant indicator. I'm going to set it in there like that. And now I'm going to take this. This is your setup gauge. Now, a word to the wise. You see that bucket right down there with a bunch of brass in it that I'm going to recycle? Whatever you do, do not put this in with all your brass. You can have a hard time finding it. Always return it back to the case. So now what we're going to do, we're going to set this at 0. See how I can just raise it up like that? So just raise it up and get the needle pointing somewhere north, 12 o'clock. Okay? And now I have a bezel screw. Hang on, I don't know if you guys can see it. You see I can't move this, I have primers in it. You see my bezel screw? I unloosen it, and now I precisely zero it. Can you see the dial now? I can see the dial. Is that okay, guys? Can you see the action? I can lower everything if you need. Hang on, let me lower this. Frickin' Andy. I'll tell you. He's laughing. Ah. How's that? Now it gets you real close. Okay. So we have that set at 0. So now what I can do, I'll back this off just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing down below. Don't get that mixed with your cases, okay? We're done with that. You can put it away. Now what we can do is we can take these cases that Andy's sized. First, let's do this. These cases, Andy sent me, he hasn't done anything to them. Let's take a look at these. There you go. He's a thousandth over on that one. Okay. Let's look at the next one. He's a thousandth over on that one. Now, you're saying, well, maybe he sized them. No, he hasn't. Those have not been sized. That's what he's shooting. But, Andy, what kind of pressure did you run in these? That's a plus 5,000. Some of these are range cases. They're all range cases. There's a 1. Okay. Brandon Hupp, everyone, welcome, Brandon Hupp. So that gives us an idea of the cases that haven't been sized. So let's take a look at some of the cases that Andy has sized, okay? Before we do that, actually, let's take a look at some of the cases that of mine that I've collected. Look at that. Okay. Does everybody see Andy's comment? I didn't want to say nothing yet, but most of those are low pressure. We're going to learn something, okay? If we ended the video after this, you would walk away learning something, okay? And Andy, Info Brothers is in the house. So Andy has sent me these zinc bullets, okay? And he loads these zinc bullets in his 30-06 really low pressure. Now, I'm going to rabbit trail, and then I'll bring you back to here. What is a squib? A squib is when we get the bullet stuck in the barrel, or the projectile. A bullet moving is a projectile. So the projectile gets stuck in the bore of the firearm. That's a squib. No, it's not. A squib is a load reduced down. Hang on, let me go get the definition. Hang on. Andy, sing him a song. Sing him a song. Okay, here I come. I'm going to show you all this. And those who have eBay handy and are really quick, if there's any left, you'd be very smart to buy this. I have 4 of them. A squib is a firework characterized by a hissing noise when ignited and burning, ending in an explosion or in some kinds of a merely burning. The second definition would be the term squib refers to a cartridge or shell that does not develop normal pressure. Remember when you were a kid and you took a firecracker and you bent it and laid it and the powder fell out and you lit it and it went and it would go pop, right? Okay, a squib would be it refers to a cartridge or shell that does not develop normal pressures. So my dad used to take 30-06. He would run a particular grain bullet. He had a particular weight powder, and he could literally shoot it in the backyard, and you wouldn't hear it unless you were paying attention. So now, a farmer or a rancher, he's got a coyote coming in, getting his chickens at night. He doesn't want to go out there and go bang at 2 in the morning and kill this coyote. And actually, maybe there's 2 or 3 coyotes. He wants to kill all of them. So he loads his 30-06 down and he goes, he doesn't scare everyone in the house and he's being quiet. So that is a squib. The reason they call it a squib when it gets stuck in the barrel is because that's what can happen when you squib down too far. There's squibs that are purposely done and squibs that they get stuck in the barrel. So that's a squib. So now let's talk about Andy. He's running these zinc bullets. He's running his charges down. And so when we look at this, when we look at his, hang on, he might have sized that one. Hang on, let me get one of these. Let's find one that we already ran through here. Bingo. That's 1/1000 over. He's not developing a lot of pressure. I would imagine his 30-06 has a pretty tight chamber anyway. Let's say, just say, his chamber is about 5,500. Well, he's not even obturating in, well, no, that's not right. It's going to obturate enough that it's got to obturate enough to stick in the chamber. Guys, I'm just kind of feeling around here. I could be wrong, okay? I'm just saying this. There's not enough pressure in this to do that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to say stuff that I really don't know, okay? We know on a squib load, more than likely it's still going to somewhat stick in the chamber, but it's not going to expand like a full load. Now, another thing, I can take, okay, so you're going through the brass bins, and all of a sudden you get a case. Okay, that's 11. Some of these are coming out like 15, 16, 17. I'll have that happen with 223 Remington a lot. You're like, man, that's running a lot of pressure. Well, no, not necessarily. you could have got something that came out of a military style weapon where the chambers are pretty loose, and that case has a lot of room for expansion. So it has to do with chamber size or oversizing chamber and pressure. It all works together, okay? So now what we got to do is we have to resize these. And we want to resize them in a way that you're getting proper headspace and you're not going to hurt yourself, okay? Um, so, oh, I forgot something. Let me grab something. So what I'm getting, these are the Reading competition shell holders. You don't have to have this entire setup to utilize these. If you had just these, you could actually size to your bolt action rifle, especially for like the hunting application. So let me tell you what these are. These are machined in increments of 2,000. And where they machine them is, let me get my pointer. This one is machined 2,000ths deeper than that standard shell holder. And then this one is 2,000ths more. This one is 2,000ths more. And this one is 2,000. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Let me start over. Okay. You see right here, okay, you see your shell holder, where the case sits. See where the case sits. This one right here is machined 2,000ths further down. This one 2,000ths, 4,000ths further. This one 6,000ths further. That one 8,000ths, and then this one is 10,000ths. So now what we can do is this. We can start with this one that's, man, this is driving me nuts. We can start with this one that's a plus 10,000ths. This one is machined down 10,000ths more than a standard shell holder. So that would mean if we do this, a little bit of lube. If I come over here like this, and I size it, now let's put the standard shell holder back in it to take our measurement. I bumped it back 2,000. So now I want you to think about this. For your auto-loading rifles, you want to bump back 4,000. A bolt action, you want to bump back 2,000. By bumping back 2,000 on your, let's say you have a particular rifle you use for hunting. If you were to take your cases and bump them all back 2,000, those would be very, very near perfect fit to your rifle. Okay. Now what we can do, this one here is 8,000. But let's say you say, well, I have a 6,000 chamber. So you're going to have to be around 4,000. All right. No problem. I'm going to take this 10 and I'll trade it in for the 6. I'm getting my cases mixed up here, guys, so I hope this works out. So. Okay, now I want you to understand, every time I size it, I'm going to lube with the case lube, the outside of the case, but you don't have to always lube it in the neck, okay? About every second or third time you can. So now we resize that. Now I'm going to go back to the standard shell holder. All right. It's going to argue with us just a little bit. I want to try something, and I apologize, guys. There's a lot going on here. Okay, I need to get rid of this case. I got too many cases going. So this one is measuring 8. It's really not sizing back. So let's do this. I want to go ahead and go to a +2. I want to really put the screws to it. We're not sizing back, so hang on. And I think I'm running that's a +2000. I want to try this one more time. Hang on. All right. I'm going to tell you what's going on. Just let me, I want to try something. I'm going to take this standard shell holder and I'm going to resize this case. And then we're going to see what it's sizing back to. Okay? Because you're saying, well, why isn't that case sizing back? Highboy. I'm going to show you this. Oh my gosh, it's not sizing back. That's the end of the 76 Highboy Reloading YouTube channel because I can't even reload. I just fully size that back and then I just full length size that and it won't go back. What's wrong? You know what? One time I went to bed one night laying there pondering this. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh, it fits. Wait. If this gauge is set to a Sammy Min, and I have this set to a Sammy Min, but that shows it as 8 thousandths higher, why isn't this showing 8 thousandths higher? Oh my gosh. That's stupid. Stupid. What's wrong? It's simple. This has went through a pretty high pressure looser chamber, and it's the angle of the shoulder. Aha. So you go, you get all this brass, and you're trying to size it back. And this is frustrating you right here. You're like, this is lying. No, that's not lying. It's just the angle of the brass is different. So if you resize all this back, and it will fit in there, then you go fire it through your rifle with just moderate pressures. And of course, I'm going to be annealing these. Then when we come back to here, after you shoot them, you'll be able to bump that back in increments. That's what's happened with these. These cases, I've had viewers send me these. Over time, I've had like bags showing up, guys saying, hey, I want to send you some brass, right? I couldn't tell you where these came from. And one guy said, the cases he sent me, his guy shot them through 5 different M1 Garands. Some of these cases have been through 5 different M1 Garands, right? Hey, Critter's in the house, Ratchet Man's in the house, lower 762. So here, now let's back up. Let me step you through this, okay? Now I'm going to back up. We have this set at 0. When we set it up with that gauge, we set it to 0. So now I'm going to come over here with this case, and I'm going to measure it. That case is 5 thousandths over. I'm going to tell you guys that more than likely this case, it's going to tame back. We can step this case back. This is a normal case. That other one that I was working with, it was 11 to 12 thousandths over, right? So we're going to do this. So you have a bolt action rifle. You're going to put your 10 thousandths in. You're going to lube the case. Oop. After I size this to where I want, I'm going to explain something to you guys, okay? It didn't budge. 10,000 won't bump it back. So we put the 8 in. I got 2 things I'm going to tell you when I'm done. It didn't size. Now I'm going to put the +6 in. See what I'm doing? I'm stepping down. That's all I'm doing. Look at that. That caught it. That brought it down. That is a plus. I went from a plus, the +10 didn't hit it, the +8 didn't hit it. I put the +6 and it knocks it down. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Guys, I'm sorry. That didn't make sense. Let me put the standard. My bad. My bad. Bad instructor. Okay, it's still not moving. Hang on. Okay, so we're where we were. Now I'm going to put the +4 in. See, every time you size it, then you got to switch back to the standard shell holder and take your measurement off that. I just moved that 1/1000th. So my +4 thousandths moved that 1/1000th. So now with using the plus 2/1000. Okay. Now it just went back up. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. Here's the two things I'm going to tell you. One, these need annealed. Two, once you have them annealed and you're stepping back in increments of 2/1000, once you find which one of these works, you run them all that way. Now, you see how we are 6/1000 over? That's flush. That is totally flush. My indicator is saying that I'm 2.5 thousandths undersized. You look at that. That's saying I'm 2.5 thousandths under. That's saying it's 5 thousandths over. We have a 7 thousandths discrepancy from that to this. And it's because the angle of all those shoulders. Big chambers, high pressure, lots of trigger time, bang, 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 right? That's the world we live in. That's what this is. But once I anneal, that's why I want to anneal. And I know why Saturday I'm going to anneal, because I'm not going to get, all I'm going to do is frustrate myself. Now, real estate in brass is an amazing thing. You will see this issue on 223556 to a degree on a smaller scale. It's small enough that you don't have to worry about it. I do not want to have to anneal a 5-gallon bucket of 223556 brass. These, I'm going to anneal these. Now, just for our argument's sake, now, what do you say I want to do one of these are annealed. I want to do one of these, but they're not clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe it off really good. You can run dirty brass up there. You just want to protect your die from anything on there that would scratch it. So now what I'm going to do, first off, let's see where this brass is. 2/1000. That piece of brass is 2/1000. And I'm going to show you something in just a second. I'm kind of putting stuff together in my brain as I go, and I'm figuring this brass out, and I'll tell you something about it in a second. So that's 2/1000. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to start with I think I want to do a +4. I could go a +10, a +8, or a +6, but we probably won't get that to size down. So I'm going to go with a +4. All right. That went in no effort, effortlessly. That brass had very little expansion. It didn't take much to size it. I mean, that's a no-brainer. That's nice. That's really nice. So now we sized it. I put the standard shell holder in. It hasn't sized because it's so small. Okay. So now I'm going to put the plus 2,000ths in, and let's see what happens. No, it's not sizing. We're close. Oh, guys, I'm a dumbass. Andy, what do you think I did? Oh my gosh. Okay, are you ready? I will officially delete this live stream. I don't want to waste no one's time. But that is my neck die. I should have picked up on that. Now watch. What's the? Let's see. This is at 108. I might just tell everyone to go to 108. Hey, I make mistakes. I don't care. Now watch. Hang on. Boys and girls, now watch the magic. I was sitting there thinking, why aren't these sizing back, right? I realized I put the neck die in, okay? Okay. So it's going to go like this. Now let's back up. You know what? That's what happens when you come home from work at the last minute. Forget your phone. Okay. We're 0. All right. So now, this case, 2,000ths. I want to bump it back 2,000ths. And knowing how these work, I'm going to put the 4,000th shell holder in there. Look at that. I bumped it back 1,000th. Okay. Hey, I really apologize. I hate to waste people's time. I really do. So I apologize for that. Now, watch this. I want to bump this back 2 more thousandths. You know, that's not the first time I've done that. Look at that. I controlled the bump back on that case. Okay. Ratchet Man, I appreciate that. You're welcome. You guys humble me because I make mistakes. I just don't want someone to rewatch this and go through all that pain. But so now, what do you say? Okay, Andy's cases are these are really fantastic. Fantastic. So now, let's look at this case. This case, let's go back to the one we tried to size. It's 8 thousandths, 8.5, right around there. I don't need to lube the neck. I'm going to start with 10 thousandths. Look at that. I just bumped it 2 thousandths, or about 1 thousandths and 3/4. Okay. So now what I can do, now I'm tracking. Now I'm tracking. So now what I do is I can put the 10 thousandths and I can put the 8 thousandths in there. I'm still going to nail this though. So there, I can walk that right back. Now, what we can do is I got my 10. Oh, there we go. I'm going to put the +2 in there. Do that. So with the competition shell holders, you can walk the cases back. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab my stool here. So to be honest with you, I don't really care that I put the neck sizing die. Just so you know, it happens. Like when I came out here alone for myself, I'm putting it together, and I realized, oh, I threw the neck size die. I just pull it off, throw the other one on. But I hate to sit here and waste people's time on an informational. But it's pretty good information because you see one thing that it happens. Okay. So here's the thing. You don't have to have the indicator and you don't have to have I'm drawing the case comparator and the instant indicator. You don't have to have all that. You don't need the dial gauge. You don't need the die body. You don't need all that. If you have just the competition shell holders, so what you do, very simple. You would take the cases shot out of your rifle, and you'd start out with the 10, and you'd size it, and then you would try to chamber it in your rifle. If it shuts easy, great. If not, then you're going to size it with the +8, and then you're going to try it in your rifle. It won't close. You're going to try it in the +6. And now let's say it closes, but it's a little hard to close. Well, then you're going to size it with the +4, and then it should shut really nice. And that's how you know that you're sizing within your headspace specs. But now, here is something you need to know. I said, once you get the right shell holder, competition shell holder set up, once you get, thank you, Bobby, I appreciate that. You guys humble me, man, really greatly. I appreciate that. Once you figure out what shell holder you need, you can size them all that way. But the kiss of death is, see, the nice thing about the instant indicator is every one of these I size, I can run right up there I can shift over, run it up, and make sure it's correct, okay? You can't do that if you just have the competition shell holders, but what you can do is kabang. So with this L.E. Wilson case gauge or whatever case gauge you use, if you use your case gauge with your competition shell holders, you can most certainly make this work. So this is what I'm going to do. I owe you guys like a total redo on this live stream, and I will probably delete this because I don't want to waste no one's time. That people's time is valuable, and I don't want to leave a video out there that I knew someone would be messed up with. So I owe you guys this. I will probably, for sure, next Thursday do this, and I might have my cases annealed. If my weekend goes right, I should get these all annealed. So you'll see my cases annealed, and we'll set it up. And so I owe you. So thank you very much. Any questions? Okay. Info Brother says, okay, so with all the different range brass, there can be wildly different lengths if you size back one case perfect, but what if some go too far back? How far is too far? It's only going to go so far. Case length is, thanks MSB, I appreciate it. Case length is different than headspace length because we're only sizing from here to the base. That's all we're sizing. So they're all going to be crunched down the same amount. Your length is what you address afterwards. That's why I don't ever trim my brass until I resize. That's how you're supposed to do it. You resize, that's when the case grows in length, and then you trim, okay? What I really should do is have this set up next week so I can go through the whole process of trimming it and everything, and I'll do that. I will do that. Did that answer your question? But still, even though we dialed it in with the proper full-length die, annealed cases are king. So for my 30-06, I'm definitely want to do that. There was something I was going to say, and it just blew my mind. Oh no, that's a good question. That's actually a rather, that's a common question that guys ask, because your headspace is based off the datum line to the head of the case. Okay, remember something. I don't know if to some degree I'll show how I anneal. I just don't know if I'll get in trouble by YouTube. But let my wheel spin on that. Maybe that would be a good idea, Bobby. A really good idea. This isn't the head of the brass. This isn't the head. That's the head. Now, those terminologies, why some guys get the trim length messed up. This is the mouth, and we don't size off the mouth. We size off the datum line. So when you crunch that case, you're from here to there. This is independent, other than the fact the flow of brass. The brass is going to flow. So when we squeeze it this way on a metal ergy level, your metal's going to go, it's got to go somewhere. So it's going to move up, and then that's when you trim that. Now, when I anneal this, that's when this is I'm gonna be able to control everything just like that, and you'll see how The other thing is once I know where, if this was all consistent and I had it set up, then I would readjust my 0 on this for the standard shell holder, and I'd be sizing and measuring as I go. And it just goes like that. What type of annealer? I'm going to use, I went to Little Crow Gunworks, and they just have the brass holder that goes in the drill, and I'm just going to sit there and count. That's how I'm going to do it. The proper NRA, I shouldn't say approved or certified, I suppose I could, was to do it in water. The danger of annealing, and it is a danger, it's a huge danger, is overheating the head. That's really bad. So what you do, you put it in water as it's turning, and you anneal it, and the heat never gets to the head. Well, if you got it in a drill and you're not going with water, it's just knowing how long to count and take the flame off. And then you drop it in water. You know, just quench it right into the water. And that's how I'm going to do it. The still shot, and I kind of know what that is, but explain it, Andy. I was going to order the template from Lee. I really should do it that way. I just have been procrastinating. I know I can stop off and get it from a place in town here. I'll probably do that tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. That'll be a good date night for my wife. Go out and buy some template. I'll tell you what, I will involve it. Even if I don't really do it, I can show you how I do it. So I'll do that. Well, guys, I smell dinner in there. You guys help me to put this together for a better live stream for next week. So I appreciate it. And I hope you guys are having a good new year. So, Info Brothers uses what I use, and it works good. Right on. Well, I'll let you know how it works for me. Hey, how many seconds do you hold yours for, Info Brothers? 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Done. How long do you go for? You go to 4 to 5, huh? Okay. All right. Game on. So, all right, guys. When you see the flame go red, it's done. When you see the flame go red. All right, buddy. I'll watch for that. Rex. Annealing will be the next money pit I fall into. I will put links to everything I have in the description box next week, so you see the prices. It's not that bad. So okay, here we go. I want everyone to type Andy79Z28 because he provided for an awesome show, and we will do it again next week with the same title. So he'll get 2 live streams. And go subscribe to his channel. He's just a great guy. I think it's orange. It's been forever since I've done it. Okay, we have Rex Chandler, Alaska One Andy, Uncle Milty, Brandon Hupp. Hey, thanks, Brandon. I really appreciate that. And Happy New Year to you, sir. I know I'm really itching to get out and do some shooting. And Bobby Barlow, Ratchet Man, Reloader 762, Info Brothers, Del Pogue. It's good to see you, Del. Oh, you put a video about your wife. I didn't see an email. I tried to find an email from your wife. I didn't send it, but I don't know what email you sent it to. I got 3 emails. Grizz3 is in the house. running with scissors. All right, guys. Critter 9H in the house. I'll leave this video up for, I don't know, a day or two, and then I'll can it, you know, and next week look forward to it. Okay, here we are. Get my little pointer here. Okay, here we go. We're out in 3, 2, 1. We'll see you guys on the next.